We are a little bit less than a month away from the November election, and any day now you should be getting your ballot in the mail. Along with voting for president and state and local officials, there are also 11 statewide ballot initiatives that you, the voter, are going to be able to weigh in on. It is a lot to take in. That blue book is big, so in an effort to help you understand all of the issues, Denver 7 is taking a closer look at all of them. First, we're going to start with a proposal to reduce state income taxes. Here's a 360 look. The question sounds simple. Would you like to pay less in state income taxes? During an unprecedented year with a pandemic and a recession, for most people the answer is an easy yes. But before you vote on Proposition 116 November 3rd, here's a closer look at the dollars and cents of it. On the ballot for this Denver 7 360, two lawmakers, the Denver Metro Chamber of Commerce, a supporter of the idea, and the authors of two different reports studying its potential impact. Colorado's income tax has held steady for 20 years. It's a flat tax, meaning everyone pays the same percent no matter their income, and it applies to both individuals and businesses. 7 states have no income tax at all. Other than that, Colorado has one of the lower rates in the country. Proposition 116 asks voters, should the state income tax be reduced from 4.63% to 4.55%? If you earn Colorado's average income of $69,000 a year, you'd save about $55 in taxes annually. Though supporters say it's a little more than that since businesses would save money too and hopefully charge you less. But the reduction would result in a roughly $154 million drop in revenue for the state budget next year. For supporters of Proposition 116,
I agree. A tax cut does sound great. Why would we say no?
This is a way to help people and businesses save money during a difficult time.
This is the tiniest of tax cuts.
John Caldera runs the Independence Institute and says it could make businesses want to come to Colorado or stay here.
We want to make sure that we're more attractive than other states, and this helps a little.
When you allow businesses to keep more of their own money, they can hire more people.
Sonnenberg.
That's Senator Jerry Sonnenberg, who tried twice to lower income taxes at the Capitol. He says even with the cuts, the state government's budget is bloated and things like roads and schools aren't being made a priority.
The only way to solve that is to allow people to keep their own money, to be able to prioritize themselves what they want to spend that money on.
I consider this very much a bill for the middle class and a bill for jobs.
Beyond that, they pointed out President Trump's changes to the tax code actually help Colorado make more money, and that the legislature raised fees and closed tax loopholes this year, so it is bringing in more funds. And even though the Blue Book analysis found that 75% of people will see a savings of $50 or less,
$50 is still $50 to somebody who needs that money for their kid and needs to buy books or clothes.
For opponents of the idea,
Coloradans need the services that the state provides now more than ever.
the state is already in a tough financial situation.
We had to face about a $3 billion budget deficit. There were significant trade-offs that were made.
That included cuts to education, transportation, mental health programs, and more. And they say this will only make things worse.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of Coloradans benefit far more from the $170 million toward the state budget that provides critical services.
The Denver Metro Chamber of Commerce, which represents business groups, agrees.
That's probably a surprise to many people. But the reason we do is because our current income tax doesn't prevent companies from choosing to bring jobs here, or companies who are currently here from expanding those jobs.
President Kelly Brough says companies care about transportation infrastructure so they can ship their goods and education to attract good employees to the state.
And our failure to invest is costing us more every year. And when you look at those kinds of costs, what you realize is we're much better off paying the current tax rate instead of reducing it.
In the run-up to the election, policy researchers are studying the potential impact of Prop 116.
This is really, like most public policy, about trade-offs.
Chris Brown from the Common Sense Institute says it could help ease some of the financial burdens from this recession.
This proposition, if passed, would benefit the private sector, increase employment, stimulate output slightly. At the same time, it would magnify some of the hardships that the state government faces.
Depending on how the state responds to the cuts, Brown says hundreds of jobs could be lost or hundreds could be gained. And this is only slowing the state's financial growth slightly. So while the state is losing money,
in the long term, we do expect revenue to rebound.
For the average Coloradoan, this is a raw deal.
An analysis by the Bell Policy Center is painting a different picture.
It's really a tax cut that will very much benefit the wealthiest of Coloradans. So 55% of the benefit will go to the top 3% of earners in Colorado.
It found that even a small tax decrease would have disproportionate effects on communities of color, since it could result in cuts to services.
Colorado's tax code is really regressive, meaning middle and low income Coloradans pay a higher percentage of their income towards taxes. This is really furthering the regressivity we see across our tax code in Colorado. You lose a far greater amount in investments in your communities, your teachers, your schools, than you gain getting back.
The question sounds simple. Would you like to pay less in state income taxes? But both supporters and opponents of Proposition 116 say there's a lot more to it than that, and they hope voters will weigh the dollars and cents of it all when they cast their ballot in November. We at Denver 7 are committed to helping you understand this very packed ballot and all of the different issues that are on it. For more on this proposition, or to learn a little bit more about the other 10 initiatives, go to our website, thedenverchannel.com, and click on the Election tab. I'm Megan Lopez.